You're listening to
It doesn't matter what you think.
the Sports Fellas Podcast.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Andres. We are back with episode number 52 of the Sports Fellas Podcast. And we personally just want to apologize. We haven't been putting out content because we've both been busy on different schedules. But nonetheless, we're here. It's fall almost on Saturday. It's the most beautiful time of the year. You got MLB playoffs, NFL starting, basketball's on the horizon for those of you that like that sport. You got footy. He came back today. UFC 294 is going to be so good. Shout out to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. Djokovic just won his 24th Grand Slam. Shout out to him. But Eric, my co-host, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. It has been a while. How's your new job been? You know, you started a job not too long ago in Tennessee.
Man.
Big move.
Man, we're cooking, man. We're cooking.
Oh, yeah.
And more things are on the horizon, but stay tuned for that.
Heck yeah, love to hear that.
Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to get started with a sad note, but we do have to start talking about the NFL first. Thoughts and prayers for Nick Chubb. I mean, I watched a picture of it. I don't think I'm going to watch the video.
It's bad, bro. Don't watch it.
They put his injury from 2015 and the one from this year side by side, and I was like, I did not need to see this today. But nonetheless, man, let's get straight into it. So, Eric, NFL is back, and we know how much you love the NFL. I know a lot of people like to say that the NBA is better than the NFL. It's not. It's never going to be. I'm sorry. It is crazy because I didn't even mention college football. College football slate this Saturday. If you don't like college football, go to your TV at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and tune in because all day we got WWE matchups. But Eric, NFL is back. I don't know if you want to talk about the Texans right now, but talk to me about something that can excite people. What do you have been seeing so far? Like, what's like? Oh my God, the NFL is back.
I think one thing I always like doing at the start of the season, granted, NFL football in general is just my favorite sport, so I keep up with everything. Like, it doesn't matter who's playing.
The waiver wire, everything.
Yeah. So like, and I'm a big college football fan, so I like seeing like prospects and how they go to the NFL and how they play. So I've been like keeping a close eye on a lot of the rookies, like I do every year. And Bijan is living up to the hype already. Like, I legitimately think you could make an argument, maybe after Christian McCaffrey, but I think you can make an argument that he's as good as anyone else. Like, his elusiveness and his agility and his vision is just it's unmatched right now. It feels like you saw that one play where he juked out like 3 different guys.
Yeah.
His footwork is insane, man.
Yeah,
he's living up to the hype. Sam Laporta is looking real good. Bryce Young, I was a huge Bryce Young fan. Texans had the number 2 pick. I was hoping he would fall to us. I liked Bryce Young ever since high school, even whenever he was the number 1 prospect coming out of high school. I was a big fan of his. He's started pretty rough, but granted, they're throwing to me and you out there. Like, they have no receivers. It's crazy, which is funny.
Didn't you put a poll out there?
Yeah, so that was in reference to something else. I was like, where does the Panthers' offensive weapons rank amongst the league? Most people put pretty much like dead last almost, like 30 to 32nd, bottom 3. But I remember back in March, before the draft happened, I tweeted something and said, whichever it was after DJ Moore got traded away after the Panthers trade up to number 1. I said, whichever quarterback gets drafted to number 1 is going to be put in probably the worst position. And everyone called me an idiot, said I was so stupid, said this was dumb. And now everyone's complaining nonstop about how he has no weapons. Like, everyone was like, oh, well, we still got the draft and free agency. They had like $15 million in cap space, and they had like 4 picks, and their best one was 40th. What are you going to do with that to really turn into a star-stud lineup? Like, it was obvious he was going to have no help, whoever it was, Stroud or Young. It was obvious there wasn't going to be much help, and it's going to be a rough start. I think judging Bryce Young on these 2 games would be pretty foolish. I think judging any rookie quarterback is foolish off the gate. If they look like absolutely awful, like they have no place in the NFL, fair. But Trevor Lawrence had almost like twice as many interceptions as touchdowns, and now he's considered almost a top 5.
Top 5, yeah.
And just if people just judge quarterbacks way too quick, and
it's just lazy because like every single time a quarterback has like 90 picks, like, oh, Peyton Manning had 90 picks this rookie year, and I'm like, You can't be comparing every single quarterback out of college to like Peyton Manning, bro. Like we're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But you know, the more you follow college football, like I remember asking you a couple years ago, like how do you know so much about like prospects? And you're just because like, oh, college football. So the more I watch college football, the more like I know like all these quarterbacks coming up and like Bijan like coming up. So it's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you get to like keep up with like Caleb Williams and how they're talking about the Shedeur Sanders, Colorado, how they're a huge name. We might talk about college football later, but
yeah, absolutely.
God, Colorado is you can't escape Colorado.
I don't have a problem with Colorado. I have a problem with the fair weather fans because last week they were saying that college football is not a sport, and now this week all of a sudden they bleed the pigskin. Like we can talk about that later. Let's talk about the NFL right now, but we can talk about that later. I don't know, man. All bias aside, I gotta talk about the Dolphins, man.
Yeah, please. Tua, Tyreek, that duo is nasty.
When you go into New England, 95% of the time you're not expecting a win. You know what I mean? If you have Brady, if you have Payton, if you have Patrick Mahomes, you're not expecting a win. So the fact that we grinded out a win, like that type of win, Vegas had us at -2. I'm like, bro, these are the type of games that you don't want to. Listen, I'm not saying I'm a gambling addict. I'm just saying that was the Vegas line. But it was a great win. You know, New England, hostile. Bill Belichick, the greatest coach to ever do it, if not one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. You might know more than I do. Mac Jones played a fantastic game, and I was very critical of Mac Jones last year. This year, he looks very good. And if you watched the Eagles-Patriots game last week, it was a very deja vu. Like, the Eagles were up like 21-0, and the Patriots kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and then that's what happened in this game. We were up 17-3, and then they just kept climbing and climbing. I want to give a shout out to Raheem Mostert. He was fantastic on Sunday. Tua has like 706 yards through 2 games. Bill Belichick, his strategy was do not let Tyreek beat you. And I find it funny how people say, oh, Tua's a Tyreek merchant. Meanwhile, he was out there throwing to Braxton Berrios, who was cut by the Patriots and the Jets. And he was out there throwing to River Craycraft, who was like wide receiver, like number 4 on the team. So shout out to Mike McDaniel, man. He's been a wizard thus far. I want to give another shout out to Kirk Cousins. So it's interesting because right now Kirk Cousins is 2nd in passing yards, but obviously the Vikings are 0-2. So wins is not a quarterback stat. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, the Vikings' problem is not the offense. Their defense is Swiss cheese, though. And coming into the season, everyone knew that their defense was Swiss cheese. So, I don't know, man. The NFC North looks like a battle right now. Obviously, the Lions are right there. A lot of people said a hot take was that they were going to win the division. The Packers, Jordan Love looks fantastic through 2 games, even though they're 1-1. So, there's a lot of things to talk about. Jamar Chase, a lot of people drafted him early on in fantasy football. Me.
Dude, the Bengals just look rough, man.
And now Burrow has that calf injury. You know, hopefully he gets better. A lot of people are saying Zach Taylor is on the hot seat already through 2 games. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
In the NFC, there's a lot of beautiful football right now. The Saints are 2-0. The Bucks are 2-0. The Falcons are 2-0. The Niners are 2-0.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the Bucks. How the Baker and the Bucks? Who expected that, bro?
It's funny because everyone said the division was going to be mid, myself included. But through 2 games, there's 3 teams that are 2-0.
It's kind of like I don't think anybody would have expected that, and for good reason. I mean, Bucks, everyone expects to be pretty bad. I thought Saints kind of had that division easily, and I still do think Saints will win the division. But Falcons look a bit better than I thought. Panthers look a bit worse than I thought, to be honest. Like, although I thought Panthers didn't have great weapons and stuff, everyone always talks about Frank Reich as this genius. Their offense looks terrible. Their defense isn't living up to what it was supposed to. Like, it's kind of in a division that's supposed to be bad. They're the only ones who look bad. And they're the ones who a lot of people didn't think would look bad. You know, like it's very flipped upside down. And I did want to go back real quick to Kirk Cousins. Man, I felt bad for him last game. Kirk Cousins was slinging it, and like that Justin Jefferson fumble that went into the end zone, like I feel like his teammates were selling him, man.
I find it funny because so every single time a touchback like that happens, everyone on Twitter wants to go viral. Should this be called a touchback? Should this be reversed? Like, bro, those are like the rules. Like, what are you gonna do?
I have to
all
say,
hate it.
Granted, you could say it's a dumb rule. It's pretty unfair. It changes that much where a fumble right there completely flips the ball to them. First off, you have 99 yards to fumble out of bounds with no punishment. And 90% of rules in the NFL are catered to the offense, to help the offense. Defense is being crippled every time there's a new rule change, it seems like. They can't even tackle the quarterback, it feels like, half the time. Like, I find it hard to feel bad for offenses. Oh, what is it? Because they have everything going for them. The NFL wants points. That's what they want. Every rule is to get more points, to help the offenses. So when there's a rule, and I wouldn't be surprised if they change this rule for that reason, but I'm not going to sit here and feel bad for offenses because of one rule that benefits them. And also, don't fumble. Like, I'm sorry, don't fumble the ball. That's like rule number 1 of holding onto the ball. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for any offenses because you decide to reach out for the end zone. Not saying it was a bad play by Justin Jefferson, but you know the risk when you do that, and you still did it. It's what happens. And I loved Kirk Cousins' response to it because a lot of people were like, what happened on that play and everything? He was like, I mean, you got to think if I throw a better pass, then he wouldn't have had to stop. He would have caught it in stride, and it would have been a touchdown. So I could put the blame on myself. Like, I don't know. Kirk Cousins has too many haters. Kirk Cousins is a dog, and Kirk Cousins is underrated in the league.
I feel like Kirk Cousins is good enough to get you to the playoffs and stuff, but like not over the hump, which stinks because he's a great quarterback. He's a great fantasy quarterback, and like I think he's overhated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
obviously, there's a lot of times where he's not the best like deep in the playoffs. Like we get it, you know what I mean? But like, how many good QBs are there today? You know what I'm saying? Like there's really not that many, and I think Kirk Cousins has been able to stay healthy. I remember a Vikings fan, I'm not going to say his name, but a Vikings fan tweeted out how every single quarterback is going to get injured. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is still Iron Man. And, like, he's literally Iron Man because it's the truth, you know what I mean?
Man, but I do want to just touch on it real quick because it makes me so sad. The Texans have to be setting a record for injuries. It's insane how many injuries we have. We didn't have our starting safeties. We didn't have 4 of our starting offensive linemen. 4. How does that happen, bro? Like, it's so painful. And arguably our best, I wouldn't say best, but one of our best cornerbacks, Tavier Thomas, who is like one of the best slot cornerbacks in the entire league, he just broke his hand. He has to have surgery now. Like, we can't catch break. We're not a good team. I don't expect us to be a good team this year. But god dang, man, we can't catch a break either, though. And it sucks even worse.
I think you're gonna be owing some money.
Man, Christian. Ow, man, that's ridiculous.
I think you're gonna be owing some money.
Well, I didn't. Okay, granted, if I knew about these injuries, I would have never taken that bet. But I'm a man. I'll pay up if it happens. There's still a lot of season to go.
Yeah. I mean, Bradley Chubb was so good on Sunday, man. I mean, I don't mean to bring it back to the Dolphins, but we don't have.
I wanted to ask you a Dolphins question actually.
We don't have Jalen Phillips right now. We don't have Jalen Ramsey. I mean, we look, like I said, through. I know it's just 2 games and stuff. I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid. We're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid yet, but I mean,
who do y'all play next? Broncos. Ooh,
we're favored by 7. I think we play the Broncos. We play the Giants. We play the Bills, and we play. There's a 4th team that I can't think about right now, but I know we play. I think we play the Bills in week 4, Broncos next week, and then week 5 I think is the Giants, and then we play someone else after that. But I mean, the offense has been clicking so far, and it's historic. I don't know if you saw that ESPN stats that we're getting like 7.98 yards per play, and it's like the most in NFL history by a lot. And number 1 was like the 2000 Rams, I think. It was like 6.33. I don't know. Did you see that stat?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. What was the question you were going to ask me?
Oh, it's kind of like I just think it's a fun comparison. You might have seen me already ask it on Twitter or something, but like, who do you think is better? They both went to the same school. They both were in the same draft. I just think it's a fun comparison. Who do you think is better between Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle?
I did see you tweet that actually.
But because I think the only difference is you could say is Jalen Waddle is clearly the number 2 on that team, and that's not a bad thing. It's just he has arguably the best receiver in the entire league in front of him because Tyreek Hill is probably him and Justin Jefferson right now, and then everyone else.
Yeah,
but
them 2, I would say Diggs
and Jamar Chase is up there. He's just started.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, and then there's one more. It's not Cooper Kupp. There was someone else
that's up there with them.
Yeah, it was them 4 and one more.
Debo. No, I just love
Debo. Anyways,
but
I think it's tricky.
That benefits Devontae Smith is
he's the number 1.
Could be considered the number 1. Like,
I agree.
I would say he's probably better than AJ.
My fantasy team thinks he's the number 1, given that I have AJ Brown.
So who do you think is better between them?
I think route running. I think Smitty is better. Hands.
Yeah,
I think Smitty is better, but
like speed.
Waddle obviously has him there,
yeah.
But you can be the fastest man in the world but have garbage hands. You know, I think Smitty has better hands, better route running. And he's the number 1 on the team. I think it's fair to say Smitty's better. I think Waddle's still top 10, but I think Smitty.
See, that's what confused me though. Is there, and not even just Dolphins fans, but there were some people like it's clearly Waddle, and I'm like, no. What though? Like, I like Waddle a lot. I like Devontae Smith a lot. I liked just that draft a lot for receivers. I mean, you have Devontae Smith, you have Jalen Waddle and you have Jamar Chase. That's an insane.
Wasn't Judy in that draft too? Or Judy was the year before?
That was the other one with like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
That's what it was. Yeah, I knew it was.
And Henry Ruggs. But that's what sucks is there's been so many good wide receiver drafts lately.
I love it, bro. I love it, man.
I need Texans to get one though. Like,
I picked up your guy in fantasy,
Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Dog, he is balling, bro. Like, he's 4th in the league in receiving yards right now. Granted, it's only 2 weeks, but he's showing like a lot of potential, man. Because Texans fans have been trying to hype him up for years. Like, we've been saying he has a lot of potential. He just hadn't quite been tapping into it. Through 2 weeks, he's tapped into it, and maybe it was just he needed C.J. Stroud. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I'm excited to see how they keep growing together. For the rest of the league, I don't know, dude. It sucks the running back injuries we're seeing and stuff like Nick Chubb. I don't think there's a single person who doesn't like Nick Chubb.
Right.
Like
he was, for a lot of people, he was running back 1 on the chart. Like, a lot of people wanted to draft him over McCaffrey this year.
I think he probably is one of those very few people, like Jason Kelsey, Nick Chubb. Players like that are guys that no one hates. Like, everyone just loves them. Good guy. Everyone wants to root for them. It really sucks that happened to him, man. It was a brutal injury. Brutal injury. And
I didn't know your leg could do that. I really did not.
Dude, I felt so bad for him. And I saw TikTok literally before during the game where
you saw that, right, with this bomb?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, bro. I saw it after the injury, and I was like,
dude.
But I
don't know.
Let us know what you think.
There is a lot. I have to say, who's gonna be your, by the end of the year, you think they were like the most disappointing team in each conference?
AFC. I'm gonna roll the dice and say I can't say the Bengals because then I'm just a hater because I really don't like.
But I mean, you might not be wrong on that, to be honest.
If I say the Chargers, I'm biased too. You know what? I don't like this rewriting Drew Brees' career thing. I'm gonna say the Broncos again. You know what?
That was my answer. The Broncos 100%. I thought they were gonna bounce back so strong. I thought Russell Wilson was gonna have a comeback year, dominate.
He looks good. He looked good.
He looks better. But
that defense is Swiss cheese, though.
Yeah,
and the NFC. Oof, the NFC is tricky because there's not a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
I mean, do the Giants count? The Giants.
I have an answer, but I don't know if you're gonna agree.
Let me see. NFC West. No. NFC North.
I mean, you could say the Panthers, honestly.
Nah, they don't count. Nah.
My answer is Detroit. I don't think Detroit's going to have a great season like everyone thinks. I think they're going to be okay, but I think they might. I think they're going to be a borderline miss the playoffs team when everyone had them clearly winning the division, and I don't see that. Granted, I could be way up. They already beat the Chiefs, but... And I'm going to say this. I don't care. Oh, you can't do hypotheticals. If
you can't do hypotheticals.
Chiefs didn't have the worst wide receiver group in NFL history, Kadarius Toney should never touch an NFL field again. He's the worst player I've ever seen in my life. If they didn't have him out there, Chiefs win the game. It's like, I don't know. If they had Kelsey healthy that game, they win. If they had Clark healthy, they win. Like, I get
no hypotheticals.
You can't do that. But my point is, I don't think Lions are all that, and they could very easily be 0-2 right now.
Can I say the Bears? Does the Bears count?
Yeah, but I didn't expect them to be good. So
I mean, a lot of the way people talk.
A lot of people. Man, Justin Fields. We gotta talk about that real quick. He can't pass the ball. What is that?
He can't do anything, bro. It's
like
bad.
And then you know what I gotta say? It was a video a couple months ago. He got asked like who's his top 5 rushing quarterbacks ever, and he said himself, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's an idiot." I think he's a top 5 rushing quarterback ever. Or at least I think you can argue it. And a lot of people were like saying Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham was a dog. Justin Fields had a season that you could argue is the best rushing season ever.
Look at Justin Fields. Look at Justin Fields against the Dolphins last year, please.
And if your argument is he doesn't have the longevity, fine, whatever. I'm talking skill and pure ability. His skill and pure ability is easily top 5. And people started retweeting that tweet, like trying to make fun of me. My opinion on that hasn't changed at all. Him not being able to pass the ball doesn't change his running ability.
I find it funny when people retweet old tweets like you're gonna change your stance on it.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Just because he can't pass the ball Why that my tweet had nothing to do with his ability as a quarterback, but his ability to run.
Like when I retweet old tweets, I retweet people like saying, "Oh, Argentina lost against Saudi," and then like they're like, "Oh, is this Messi's last dance?" Like I that I'll retweet.
Yeah, 100%.
Stuff like that.
But
like, I think it's
I can't be bothered with that stuff.
Eric, you might know more than me. The last time the Panthers like made the playoffs was the Super Bowl year, or the year after that.
Damn, it might be. I didn't even think about that. That is kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah,
they fell off.
I was thinking about it, and yeah, so I don't want to be an asshole, right? So I did say the Jets, like, they'll find a way to fuck it up because it's the Jets. Obviously, I couldn't predict Rodgers' Achilles falling off the bone, but like I did say before the year, the Jets have everything going for them, and then they'll find a way to fuck it up because of the Jets. And
yeah, I feel bad, man.
Feel bad for them, bro. They were gonna win the Super Bowl this year and all that.
No, see, they talked a lot, but like Jets kind of can't catch a break. Like you get Aaron Rodgers finally, you get a quarterback that's proven, you get the guy, and that happens.
We haven't won a playoff game in 20 years, bro.
You saw me
23, actually 23.
You saw me tweet that bet about how he needed just a yard. And I got clown. Everyone was laughing.
You went viral, so
everyone was laughing so much about that, but it was funny.
But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think. My Super Bowl prediction right now hasn't changed. Before the season, I said Dolphins, Eagles. Sticking to it. Eric?
Ooh. Damn, I don't know. I'll go. I know it never happens.
Go Niners, Chiefs. I know you want to.
That is tough. Niners, Chiefs? Ooh. I was kind of thinking Niners, but I don't know if I want Chiefs. Yeah, I'll go Niners, Chiefs. That's not a bad shot.
All right.
Because nobody in the AFC is looking like a dog right now. Nobody is like, it's 2-10, granted.
And the NFC is the usual. You got the Eagles, the Niners, and the Cowboys who are supposed to win it every year.
Cowboys, actually, I might go Cowboys. Give me Chiefs and Cowboys. Cowboys, they might be for real, actually. Dude, Micah Parsons is a freak. It's crazy how Micah Parsons,
literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Micah Parsons got better. And he was already a top 3-4 defensive player in the league. He's probably number 1 right now. The only ones I think you could argue in
Aaron
his
Donald,
range is like Aaron Donald,
obviously,
Myles Garrett, TJ Watt.
Myles Garrett is really good.
I think
really
good.
Those. I remember people were saying that he was going to be a bust.
I think that's a pretty safe top 5 is Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, and
before we move on to baseball, I do want to say one more thing. Shout out to TJ Watt for becoming the number 1 in sacks in the Steelers franchise history. He is probably
which is crazy. They have a lot of history too.
Yeah, like a lot of history. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, it feels good to talk some NFL. But moving on to the second topic, Eric, why are the Astros trolling? Enough, man. We're past the panoramic. Like, there's no need to troll. Enough is enough. But honestly, before we talk about that, let's talk about the MVP race, because I feel like it's bad for me because Mookie is obviously my favorite player and Ronald Acuna is from the motherland. If Ronald Acuna wins MVP, I don't think Mookie's gonna be wrong. However, I think you could say that Mookie does deserve the MVP. But Ronald did something that has never been done. I mean, he had a 30-60 season. God willing, he's 3 home runs away from 40 and 4 stolen bases away from 70. Imagine batting .330, 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases, and I'm not an RBI guy, but 100 RBIs. You can't even do that in Road to the Show, dude.
I think when it comes to stats like that, like RBI, batting average, you don't have to use it as your main thing, but you could still like point it out and say, I'm sorry.
That's not the deal breaker.
Even if all of them were singles, Luis Reyes batting fucking 400 for a bit, that's good regardless. Even if they're all singles, you still got to give it to him. You don't have to crown batting average as the reason he's this great, but you could still point it out and like say it, mention it. Like, I hate people there's either people who use them way too much or people who act like they mean absolutely nothing. Like, I just don't get it. Like, obviously batting average isn't the best stat to use. Obviously RBI isn't the best stat to use, but they're not awful ones to use.
I mean, batting average is funny. It's a funny stat. Like, I have other stats that I used before batting average.
Yeah, like, on base percentage, OPS.
I saw a tweet. It was like, when you're discussing baseball with your dad, do you use like OPS and stuff? And I'm like, and then people are like, no, it's batting average, home runs, and RBIs. And I'm like, oh my god, this shit is so funny. Because it's true though. It's true though. When you're talking with your parents, you're not like, oh, OPS, weighted runs created. You know, like,
it's hard for me to talk baseball with my dad sometimes because like a pitcher will be struggling or something, and they'll like throw a ball, and he'll be like, just throw it in the zone. And I can't help but laugh because he gets so frustrated watching it. Oh, I will say though, he kind of roasted y'all. This was months ago, but we were watching. It was Astros versus Red Sox, and my dad, weirdly enough, he's actually watching a lot more baseball this year. He did not like watching baseball for a while, but he's finally back into watching it. And we were watching the Red Sox, and y'all had errors. I swear, the Red Sox have to have the most errors in the league. Every time I watch them, they make stupid plays, and I looked it up, and y'all were like number one by far.
By a lot.
Yeah. So my dad, he must pay attention more than I think. Also, very, very, very side note, I just found out recently that my dad keeps up with tennis a lot. That was the most closeted thing about him. I didn't know that at all because I turned on the thing real quick when Coco Gauff won the US Open. I turned it to it. He goes, "Oh yeah, she did this and this," and he started listing everything that's happened in the US Open. I'm like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Why did you tell me this? Come on." And he goes, and he just starts going, "Hey, I got layers. I'm like an onion. You usually can't peel them all back." I'm like, "You couldn't. I like sports. You couldn't tell me about you loving this sport or something. What the heck?" I don't know. It's weird.
But NL MVP, Eric, who do you have?
You gotta go Acuna, I guess. But I do think the odds. I think last time I checked, the odds were negative 600 for Acuna. I think that's a bit ridiculous. I think Mookie Betts is. No,
I think the last time I saw it was negative 175. I don't know if it changed. But
maybe, but I think Mookie Betts is right there. If he won, I would not be upset at all.
That's what I'm saying. What was the year? I don't mean to be an asshole. 2019, right? So 2019, people said that Giannis robbed the award from Harden. I don't think it can be considered in a robbery when both of them were phenomenal. So Acuna, if Acuna wins it, I'll be happy for Acuna. If Mookie wins it, second player to win in the AL MVP. So I'm not gonna be mad regardless. If it was someone else like Freddie Freeman or Matt Olson, I'd be a little upset, But AL MVP, bro, this guy has negative 20,000 odds to win it. Negative 20,000, and he missed.
I mean, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Shout out to Shohei, man. Whatever team gets him, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Whatever team gets him, phenomenal. AL Cy Young, I'm gonna go Garrett Cole. I think. It's funny because his best year and the Yankees are wasting it so last year Garrett Cole wasn't bad, but for his standards, quote unquote, he was bad. He had a 3 ERA. NL MVP, I can't say I have a name because there's 6 different candidates. You got Kodai Senga, you got Justin Steele, you got Blake Snell, you got Zach Gallen. There's those 4. I think there's one more I'm trying to blink on right now. Any of those can be NL Cy Young. AL Cy Young, Garrett Cole, like I said. Manager of the year. Manager of the year is tricky. I think we have to wait for the Marlins. If the Marlins make the wild card, God willing, they do. I think Skip Schumacher should be manager of the year, but they'll probably give it to Snicker.
You think?
Low-key.
You think they'd give it to him over them if the Marlins make it?
I feel but I feel like it should be Skip though, because the Marlins they had no shot of making the playoffs.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he should make it if they make the playoffs, and I think they'd give it to him if they do.
Hopefully, yeah. I'd be down for that.
Nobody expected the Marlins to be like this.
Yeah, I think he should win it. I mean, hopefully they make the playoffs, man. They're a half game behind right now. AL, I think it's pretty obvious, right? Brandon Hyde from the Orioles, easily.
Yeah, they're ridiculous, man.
They're a wagon, bro.
I think when it comes
Wait, hold on. I did not mean to cut you off. Did you see the tweet that said that every single Orioles prospect they call up looks the same, and then they put the picture of all 5 of those guys, and the Orioles?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I think the Orioles are insane though. They have such a good young core, all while also having some vets. That's the same thing with the Rangers. I think Rangers getting Wyatt Langford.
Bro, I need the Rangers to miss the playoffs. I will stand up and clap if it happens.
Same. But the Rangers getting Wyatt Langford in the draft just now, that's insane because they already have a elite young core, and getting him Corey Seager. If it wasn't for Shohei Ohtani being one of the greatest players of all time already, then Corey Seager would be MVP.
I did say before the season that Julio would win MVP. He's gonna finish top 3. So shout out to
he'll probably be 3rd, which is crazy because he started the season rough.
So I'm looking at the standings right now, and I do want to go. I wanted to go over them, but at the same time, I don't because the Rays are still fighting with the Orioles. The Mariners, Rangers are still fighting for a playoff spot. So instead of confusing you guys, we'll just wait for the for the special playoff episode to talk about it.
Yeah,
But,
I will say I thought Orioles were
bro,
gonna run away with it a little bit ago, but Rays are keeping it close, man.
yeah, but the Rays did start like 20-3, so
Yeah, but then Orioles took a sizable lead, and they've kind of
yeah, I think it was like 6.5, probably.
yeah. And I thought it was like wraps, but I don't know. The wild card race in the AL is going to be a lot of fun.
Bro, both of them are movies.
And that's what's funny is like I was talking about it with a coworker, and the Rangers, I think they swept the Blue Jays, right?
correct.
Yeah, they swept them, and you're like, oh my God, Blue Jays might miss playoffs. And then immediately after that, Rangers lose 3 straight, and Blue Jays win 3 straight. So it basically didn't even happen. And you're like, granted, keep in mind, I want the Rangers to miss the playoffs, but how do you fumble that? You had it. And another thing is, I'm glad Astros might suck. We might be choking this season away already, but we should win the division because we have a 1.5 game lead over Rangers and Mariners right now.
Well, they had to play each other.
They play each other 7 more times.
Yeah.
So we should be fine.
Yeah, but you guys are trolling.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do anything in the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest. This is the worst Astros team. No. This is genuinely. You cannot disagree with this. This is the worst Astros team. This is the worst Astros team since our dynasty started.
Stop playing the underdog card. No.
It's not underdog. I just
no. It's bad because of Dusty Baker. It's not bad.
That's part of my point. He needs to retire. He sucks. He's so bad at his job. Why is Martin Maldonado getting playing time?
Why did he retire after last year, bro? Like, he should have ended with the Rangers.
It could have been the Sun. Yeah, man.
Same thing with Brady. No offense to Brady. Obviously, it's Tom Brady. But if Brady retired with the ring, look at that. You got Brady retiring with the ring. You got Dusty retiring with the ring. And then you got Michael Jordan retiring with the ring. Like why didn't Dusty look up the Last Dance on Netflix, dude? But the NL, bro, I don't know how to say this. So, America's team never wins, right? The Padres missed the playoffs, right? And everyone is thinking that the Braves are going to steamroll the playoffs. Do you think the Braves have to make the... So, is it World Series or bust for the Braves? Let me ask that.
I would... that's the thing. Dodgers are so good, though. So, it's tough to say that because
This is the worst Dodgers team of their dynasty. This is the worst.
No, you think so?
Yes, easily.
This Dodgers team is good,
Look at the lineup. 1 through 6, 1 through 5. It's acceptable.
But they could still win like 100 games.
But that's what I'm saying, though. The NL West, this year, it was supposed to be the Padres taking over the city after they beat the Dodgers last year, and...
Man. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I'd fully say it's World Series or bust.
However,
I think it would be pretty disappointing. I think it's extremely... You should be embarrassed if you don't at least make the NLCS, and if the team you lose to isn't the Dodgers. If you lose to the Brewers or the Phillies, I don't think either of them are going to make noise.
But the Phillies, they're running away with that wild card.
Yeah, for sure. But I think as of right now.
No. But listen, if the Phillies are the first wild card and they win their divisional matchup, they play each other again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take the Phillies.
No, but I'm saying that like it happened last year. So like, So like your point is that like if they don't make the NLCS and they're playing their kryptonite, I want to call it kryptonite. They only play once, but it would be labeled a failure. I think. So.
I think that's a failure. Yeah,
bro, all of their players look like Barry Bonds. Like, oh, Spencer Strider, that was the other Cy Young candidate that I forgot about.
Freak, bro, he's crazy. You said what?
There was a TikTok that there was this guy harassing him. He was like, Spencer Pringles wants his mustache back, and I was like, oh my god,
crazy. It is a wild mustache. I think as of right now, and you might disagree because I know you just said you're not as high on the Dodgers. I think right now the NL is a 2-man race with the Dodgers and Braves, and I think the AL it's maybe a little more open. Like, Blue Jays have the talent to maybe make some noise, but I would say as of right now, the AL is also a 2-man race with the Orioles and Rays, with the Astros peeking their head in.
I think you guys are better than the Rays. I don't know about the Orioles.
The Rays have looked better than us lately.
I think you guys are just trolling though. If Dusty is
down to our competition for sure, but like I don't know if I trust. If he's going to keep rolling out Martin Maldonado, if he's going to keep rolling out Presley, if he's going to keep rolling out Montero, I don't trust us to do anything. And the problem is, he's the one making these decisions, and he knows that us fans can't stand him because he even said after one thing, he goes, and by the way, I don't need any fans' help making the lineups. Motherfucker, yes, you do. You are dog shit at your job. Let's be honest. There's a reason you didn't win a World Series till you came to an insanely stacked roster. And yes, last year's Astros team is insanely stacked. It is a top 15 team ever. I will say
the bullpen was top 3 ever. Maybe.
Ever. Like, we are that was one of the best teams. That was one of the best teams anyone our age has ever seen. And no shit, Dusty Baker's gonna win. You're gonna say it's not?
The 2018 Red Sox were pretty damn.
That's why I said one of. I'm not saying the best.
No, you said the best.
No, I said one of. Right. Run back the tape.
All right, so ideally, right? You got Bregman, Pena, Altuve. Right now, it's in the air, but right now, let's just say Jose Abreu. Then you got Yainer Diaz behind the plate. Then you got Brantley. I would say McCormick and Kyle Tucker. Like, it's really not that hard of a job.
Did you say you were on?
Yeah, he's DH. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was trying to.
Yeah, because Uncle Mike is getting his reps in, and obviously you trust him out there more than.
Chas McCormick has been balling. He should be playing a lot.
But then you got Jake Myers.
He's a great fielder too.
Maurice
pissed me off last night. I'm sorry, but did you see the play? You're on third base. He hits a ground ball. Fucking run home. Like, I'm sorry, it was going to be a tough play, but you can't just stand there. He didn't even fake it and make the fielder think about it. He literally
the Eric Hosmer run.
Bro, I was like, okay, you couldn't have done a worse job. If you get you become a pinch runner, you gotta put in fucking effort, dog. Like, that was terrible.
If you're a pinch runner, pinch run. Don't just stand there looking.
Oh my god,
bro.
And Brian Presley, I could not have less faith in that man. I can't stand him, bro.
Bro, when I saw Cedric Mullins walk up to the plate, and I'm like,
knew.
bro,
you just knew.
Bro, that was a cock shot. That was gone like that.
Okay, I want to talk about 2 more things before we move on from baseball.
Number 1.
One, how absolute dog shit is the AL Central?
We need to incorporate relegation to American sports.
It's annoying. That's what pisses me off is, I'm sorry. I know, granted, I'm not one of those people that thinks, oh, they need to change the rule because of it, but it sucks knowing that Twins are going to make the playoffs when they're not.
They're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to get a home stand.
And they aren't even a playoff level team. The only reason they're even have a winning record is because they're playing the fucking Royals, the White Sox, and the Tigers all year long. The second best team in that division is the Guardians, who suck. Like, there's no reason. Second thing, I don't want to get too annoyed with that. Second thing, I just want to mention Yankees fans. I feel bad for y'all, but fuck y'all at the same time. That is hilarious how bad they are. Every year it's their year, and they fumbled it this year. They were awful.
They were 5th in World Series odds.
And they absolutely, dude, I gotta say, Vegas definitely tricks people like that. They know people are gonna bet on the Yankees, and they trick them into doing it.
They were historically bad. But one thing I will say, I never talk good about the Yankees, but I'll do it for the one time. So it was funny how people were saying that, oh, Yankee fans are so spoiled. Why wouldn't you want to have a team that's World Series or bust every year? That they're like, oh, they should be grateful they're not the Colorado Rockies. Yeah, obviously they're Colorado Rockies. Like, don't let them stoop to your level. Like, I just thought that was pretty pathetic.
I agree.
But
stupid.
Like the Astros, if you guys don't make the ALCS, is it a failure? Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But wait, what was the? Oh yeah. Are you excited to see playoff Carlos Correa again?
I am actually. That's what I gotta say. I'm always gonna be a Carlos Correa fan. I get annoyed when why are you giving that look? What's that?
He's washed, man.
Maybe so.
But he's been garbage this
Yeah,
year.
he has. But I'm still always gonna like him. Like, you got if Mookie Betts came out there batting .215, you're still gonna be a fan.
That's the greatest player I've seen with my 2 eyes.
But you're still cap. But you're still gonna be a fan. You're lying.
No. Okay, but nonetheless, before we move on, man, I think I'm gonna do a special video on my Instagram, but try not to get emotional, man. 20 years of Miggy Cabrera is wicked, man. I've been saying this. Eric and I talked about this last episode, or actually I did talk about it with the boys too. Like, if you're elite for 10+ years, like a decade, like, I'm gonna start naming random people: Messi, Ronaldo, Henry, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Mookie Betts, Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph Curry, James Harden, etc., etc., etc. You're pretty damn good. And Miggy was able to play in the league for 20 years. First triple crown since 1967, won back-to-back MVPs. A lot of players can't say they've done that. He's probably going to be first ballot Hall of Fame. Should be first ballot Hall of Fame. He's going to be the second Venezuelan to be a Hall of Famer. And the fact that I'm witnessing this in real time, him, Jose Altuve, and Acuna, health willing, be Hall of Famers after not witnessing any the first, 200 years besides Luis Aparicio. I think it's pretty phenomenal, and Miggy has like 15 games left, so
yeah, watching that final game, man, that's gonna be sad.
It's gonna be terrible, dude.
I know. I'm a FaceTime you. You have tears streaming down,
bro. But like, it's sad because Pujols didn't get the goodbye tour that he deserved. Like, Miggy goes at every stadium.
Pujols was that guy. Especially because Astros were in the division with the Cardinals back in the day. So Pujols was that guy to me. Like, he was, the way I can say it was, I remember back in the day when Rockets would play the Lakers, Kobe would genuinely scare me as a kid. Like, he was that good to where I was scared when Rockets would play him. That's how I felt about the Astros playing Pujols. He was that good.
Pujols won MVP. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2001. I think Ichiro won it that year, actually. So I think Pujols won MVP like 2003, 2002, and then he just retired last year.
Yeah,
that's an asshole. Hey, listen, you were like 5 years old, but you're never gonna forget Pujols' three home runs at Minute Maid. Like, dude, this is where I don't understand how people say baseball is boring, dude. You and I, we can sit here till midnight talking about so many moments that we've witnessed. And
bro, and you know this. The only time I've ever cried in my life about sports was when Craig Biggio retired. That's how much I loved him and cared about him. Granted, I was 7, so
triple B's, man.
But like,
bro, when Altuve retires, I don't know, bro. Like,
baseball was probably my favorite sport growing up, like as a little kid. And because I grew, like, I had 2 older brothers. I grew up at the Little League fields, going to baseball games. Like, I loved baseball as a kid. It just, baseball has a different feel. I don't know how to explain it, but there's something about baseball. Every year when the season starts, I feel like I'm a little kid again, and I just can't wait. I'm so excited. Granted, it is a long season. Sometimes there's dull moments. It happens. But right when you start getting in this, like, the dog days of the year and you get close to the playoff race and playoff start, I feel like a kid all over again because every pitch matters. Everything matters. It's so much fun. I just don't get how people don't like it.
So when Altuve gets that phone call that he's going to the Hall of Fame, I want a live stream of like New York City. Like, I want to see every single Yankees fan upset. Like, I need he's first ballot.
That's why I get so confused when some Astros fans are like, "Nah, Jeff Bagwell's still the greatest Astro ever." Motherfucker, it is clearly Jose Altuve. We don't gotta pretend it's not. Like, he was the face of the greatest era in Astros history, the greatest dynasty. He was the face of one of the greatest dynasties of our lifetime. You could say Yankees when we were like babies, sure, obviously.
And then you have Real Madrid. The Bulls don't count.
Yeah, and like, I was talking baseball, but even any sport, yeah, you like.
Yeah. No, bro, I think easily. Well, I mean, hockey's up there, but I think easily repeating in baseball is very hard. Getting to 6 ALCSs is very hard. But man, Jose Altuve, man, what a guy! What a guy!
Freaking insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else, and then I lost my train of thought because I was worried about the live stream of Yankee fans. But
I know, I'm excited for that. I can't wait. It's so funny how much they hate him, man, because he's like one of the most likable.
Oh, I remember. Okay, so you've been through a rebuild. No offense, in every sport. What sport is the most boring when your team is going through a rebuild? It's easily basketball because NFL.
Basketball, I get so exhausted with.
NFL, you have fantasy football to hold you over, even if you don't like football. And then baseball, there's so much talent around the league right now. So I think basketball, yeah. So that was going to say back to my point.
I will say, I do think part of that comes to us, me and you specifically, probably liking like football and footy and like baseball more than basketball, or at least I think we do. I don't know. Basketball, I love basketball. Don't get me wrong.
It's washed though. The sport
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. Back in the Miami Heat, LeBron days, back in the Kobe Lakers days,
this felt different. Boomers though. Like, it's just like, bro, like the sport has lost like the love, bro. Like,
it doesn't feel the same. I don't get excited for the season. And I will say, when it comes to baseball, if Yankees or Red Sox, if Braves and Orioles are playing on Sunday Night Baseball, I'll sit down and watch it. If you get to NFL, you could put almost anyone on a screen. I will sit down and watch it. College football, same. Basketball,
You're kind of watching Rockets.
I don't know
versus
if
the,
last year
the
I
Hornets.
sat through an entire non-Rockets game, and when it came to Rockets, I only sat through maybe 2 because we were painful to watch. Like it's not the same. In 2018, I remember I watched every single Rockets game.
Yeah.
I will never do that again in my life. Never come close to it.
If we don't get Damian Lillard, I'm not watching to the playoffs. Like,
Dog, like it's just I don't know.
We'll get him though. We'll get him.
It's not the
But
same.
anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Coco Gauff and Novak Djokovic. Not much can be said about either. First, let's talk about Novak Djokovic. 24 Grand Slams, 10 Australian Opens. I'm not even reading anything. I know it's off the top of my head. 10 Australian Opens, 3 French Opens, 7 Wimbledons, and I think 4 U.S. Opens. Yeah, 4 U.S. Opens. I know people are going to discredit him. Me too. People are going to discredit him and say he's not the greatest of all time. But listen, durability is such an underrated aspect in sports. Mentality. I'm not talking about like mom mentality. I'm talking about like being able to stay mentally sane from competing in those stages, those Grand Slams, those Master 1000, Master ATP 500s, ATP 250s, the Masters, like everything. You play in 36 quarterfinals of Grand Slams, bro. You win 24 Grand Slams. Like, this guy is ridiculous. Given this was his easiest Grand Slam ever. It was the most Mickey Mouse Grand Slam ever.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think, I guess that already answers my question, but I saw he won 3 majors and made it to a final in another major. Would you say this is one of the better seasons you've seen in in your lifetime or no?
This year, well, he's 36. I would say so being able to do this at 36, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nadal is dealing with those chest injuries. Obviously, Roger retired, but like it's wicked, man. I would have killed to see Roger at his peak and Djokovic right now, like, man, because Roger at his peak, bro, he was. Well, I showed you the stats and everything. He was disgusting, man. So let me give you a fun stat. Ready? Roger Federer 5-peated the U.S. Open. So he won in 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. Wait, excuse me, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09. Since he won it 5 times in a row, no other tennis player has repeated it.
Crazy.
And he's the only, I can still say this, he's the only player to have 5 Grand Slams in 3 different Grand Slams. But Djokovic can say he's done it 3 times. But anyways, shout out to Nole. 24
I do want to say, I've noticed, so I only got into the sport like a lot, like where I'm watching a lot, probably like what, 5 months ago.
Yeah, last year?
It was like 5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like Wimbledon was the first major that I like kept up with the entire thing, like was watching as many matches as I could. The few before that I kept up with, but I wasn't sitting down watching, like US Open and Wimbledon, I did that for. Since I've gotten into the sport, whenever I first started watching it like a lot, Iga Swiatek, that's how you say her name?
Yeah.
She was ranked #1. She has not done anything since I've become a fan.
She has kryptonite whenever she.
Bro, I'm like, what have like? I watch the sport and she's ranked #1. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch the #1 tennis player. She does not look like the #1 tennis player. Granted, she's ranked #2 now. She's not #1 anymore. But, huh?
Yeah. Then you got like Simona Halep, who tested positive for PEDs. Like she got banned for 4 years, and then Serena got mad, and
yeah, it's just.
But shout out to Miss Coco Gauff, man.
Dude, America.
Fourth American to win the U.S. Open. Excuse me, fourth American women to win the tournament since 2000, behind a couple good names. Serena Williams, pretty good. Venus Williams, pretty good. And then Sloane Stephens, 19 years old. She's gonna be good for a lot of years to come.
So long.
She is phenomenal, man. I know a lot of people like to be sexist and stuff, but shout out to Miss Coco Gauff, man. She is phenomenal. God bless her. Hopefully she stays healthy for years to come. We can keep on witnessing her greatness. But secondly, Israel Adesanya. Your team needed you. Your city needed you. Your country needed you. And you went out there and you looked like me. I haven't practiced Taekwondo in a while, and I haven't done wrestling in a while. I don't know what you would know more than me, Eric, but I don't know what Izzy's strategy was going into that match, because the first round was for Strickland. The second round was for Izzy. After it's 1-1, you're thinking, here we go, and he got his ass whooped. And I know everyone wants a WWE storyline of, oh, we'll be back next time for chapter 2. Like, why does every UFC fight feel like, oh, we'll be back? Like, bro, no. But yeah,
show up. Yeah, that was an embarrassing show. And I will say, I think what it looked like, what kind of was bothering Izzy was a lot of times when people fight Izzy, like even Alex Pereira, whenever he fought him,
the first time or the second time?
But all of them,
okay.
Like every time, even kickboxing. Paulo Costa, whenever he fought him, it seems like people really respect Izzy's striking, as they should. One of the best strikers we've seen. Sean Strickland just didn't care. He walked him down the whole fight, and it seemed like Izzy didn't know what to do. Like Izzy was just, but I don't know, the way it felt like he just went out half speed and didn't really care that much, and that's
it looked
really
like he didn't care at all. Yeah.
It feels like we're entering a new era for sure of UFC, where like, first off, light heavyweight. I don't know what's going on there. Light heavyweight's just not that great of a division right now, I don't think. But there are a bunch of guys that are up and coming that I really like, that I think are entertaining. Kamaru Usman lost his belt. That was really disappointing as a fan. Israel Adesanya loses his belt. That's really disappointing as a fan. I think Alex Pereira is going to go up to light heavyweight and just run through it and probably get the belt eventually. It just feels like we're really in a new era, and it's crazy. I mean, you still got Volk dominating, and he'll probably... Man, Volk is a freak, so I don't know when that's going to end. It's just, I don't know. I think, don't get me wrong, I'm loving the UFC right now. It's really entertaining, but a lot of the guys I'm big fans of are losing, and it's tough as a fan right now. Like,
speaking of UFC, man, we'll finish your thought.
I was just saying, like, Kamaru Usman, I'm a big fan. The way he came out against Leon Edwards, terrible. Israel Adesanya, big fan. The way he came out against Strickland, terrible. Like, it just sucks seeing the way the guys I like to point out. It also sucks because Daniel Cormier, my favorite fighter ever. Granted, I don't think he went out in a sad way. He lost, but I think he put everything out there. I think he fought hard. He didn't sit there tiptoeing around him. No, he went at Stipe, and it was a tough fight. He lost, but I at least would rather that than see someone just kind of dance around and not do anything. It's just, it's frustrating, but there's a lot of young and up-and-comers, and it's fun to watch. I am fucking annoyed on the boxing side with Ngannou and Tyson Fury fighting. Tyson Fury's such a bitch, man. I used to be a Tyson Fury fan. The way he's ducking and, like, what the fuck, man? Stop doing. I get it. You need money. Tyson Fury is set for life. He like, no one. That's what gets a little frustrating to me, I guess, is granted. Obviously, money is the number one thing why you're into the sport.
Absolutely.
Probably. But just kind of is annoying sometimes how people don't really seem to care about legacy at all anymore, when that used to be what it was all about. You wanted to prove you were the best. Now, Tyson Fury could go prove he's the best while making millions and fight Alexander Usyk. He's not going to, though. He's going to duck and fight Ngannou, who he should easily beat because Ngannou's not a boxer. It just is really frustrating. And I hate that about boxing. I hate that about combat sports right now. Like, even whenever, granted, I'm saying this, I'm gonna tune in and watch. That's just we know I am.
We're just that. Bro,
like Mayweather and McGregor,
it's so much more different than like.
It's wasted potential there. It's frustrating.
So for those of you that say we don't love you, we do love you. We're giving you a month notice for UFC 294. You got Islam versus Mr. Charles Oliveira. Part 2. You got Paulo Costa against Khamzat. You got Imavov against Alice Karov. I don't want to mispronounce that. Mike Green is fighting there. Victoria Dudakova is fighting Jean Frey. You got Anna Kalev, Johnny Walker. If you don't like UFC or if you've never seen, this card looks delicious. And like, I don't really like to tune into pre-shows because I'm still a casual. But like this card, like if you can recognize the names on the card, I think it's supposed to be a good card in my humble opinion. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the last topic. This is going to be very brief because, Eric, do you want to tell them the news about the Ballon d'Or?
What was the news?
About the special episode.
Oh, we're going to be doing an episode, correct, where you said top 30, correct?
All 30 candidates.
We're going to be talking about all 30 candidates, breaking it down. Granted, I like to think, I don't know if Andres will back me. I think my footy knowledge...
Every single time you say something, you're like, I don't know if Andres is going to agree with me.
I think my footy knowledge has come a long way. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I can, like, hold my own somewhat argument. If I'm going against you, you're obviously going to know a lot more than me.
All right, give me a reason why Holland deserves the Ballon d'Or.
Nah,
you're wrong.
I don't know. That's the thing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all 30 candidates. We're going to talk about like their case for it, why they're a candidate. We're going to talk about how their season went, stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't gone this in depth about this many players. I don't think ever talking about footy. I'm talking with someone like Andres, not to give you too many flowers here, but
Hey, listen,
he knows
I give you your
Andres
flowers for
knows a lot.
UFC. I give you your flowers for
True.
UFC.
Andres knows a lot about the sport. He's one of the main reasons I got into the sport even. So it's gonna be fun to sit down and talk with him and like pick his brain about it more than anything and see his thoughts. We already know who he thinks should win, but I'm excited to hear
the winner.
I'm excited to hear more of the
You know who I
reasoning.
think is gonna win? The winner.
Okay, fair. I'm excited to hear more of his reasoning. I'm excited to hear like your 3rd, 4th, 5th place finisher. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, but you know, I haven't played you all episodes, so I'm gonna do it right now. I wanted to talk about the Champions League, but your team is not in there.
No, you know, this is the first time since being a fan of this sport that my team isn't in the Champions League.
Bro.
This shit sucks when your team isn't in it, and you've probably never experienced that, have you?
No, but so
That's nuts. That's so ridiculous.
In 2010, so I'll walk you through it. 2010, we lost in the round of 16 versus Lyon. 11 semis versus Barca. 12 semis versus Bayern. 13 semis versus Dortmund. 14 we won. 15 we lost in the semis versus Juventus. 16 we won. 17 we won. 18 we won. 19 we lost in the round of 16, and it was pitiful. Like, I genuinely didn't want to watch another game. Like, it was terrible. You know, like losing in the group stage, Barca is one thing, but when you get eliminated, bro, like I said, like it's so hard to compare to other sports besides baseball because when your team loses, you're like, bro, like
you're so disconnected after that.
Exactly.
You just get so sad. And
So-
that's what sucks is I want to say real quick, I was annoyed because I'm like, oh, Chelsea don't have European football to distract them. They'll do good in the Premier League. We still fucking suck, dog. We're so bad. It's so frustrating.
So 2020, we lost to Man City, and I mean that was that Champions League doesn't even count. Like that Bayern victory, that shit doesn't count. 21, we lost in the semis against you guys. 22, we won, and then this year is pending. But
I gotta say, that semis was so much fun against y'all. Not even just because we won, nothing like that. I thought it was a fun match to watch. Y'all are.
I think I texted you. I remember I texted you after the Benzema goal, and you were like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, here you go. And then the second leg, it was the worst.
Dog, Benzema, that motherfucker. Who was it? Was it not? It was.
He scored a scissors kick, not a scissors
No,
kick.
it was last time whenever y'all beat us. Wasn't it Modric did like the front foot kick and
yeah,
fucking phenomenal assist.
it's called Trivella. Yeah, Trivella.
My dad has been trying to get more into soccer and I've been like showing him more stuff. I showed him that. I'm like, this shit is like art to me. Like that pass,
bro, it was
is one of my favorite things I've ever seen like live in a soccer match.
Yeah. It's been 9 months and a day since Lionel Messi won the World Cup. You know, I just had to throw that out there. But listen, footy is back. Thank God, man. European. So I personally watch a lot of South American football, but so footy has never left for me. But European football is back. Very excited. The Real Madrid is 5 out of 5. Eric already said what Chelsea was. There's. I was saying this the other day, man. I could talk about football for so long. Excuse me, not get tired. In 10 days, FIFA releases. I'm excited to start grinding that out, but I cannot wait for next episode, man. So we got the special episode about the MLB playoffs also coming up, and we got the special episode about the Ballon d'Or. So I know it's been 2 months, but we do have a lot of content. I mean, this episode we talked a lot of football, a lot of baseball. Give shout outs to Djokovic and Coco, and we slayed Mr. Adesanya. Because, bro, I don't even want to rewatch that fight. Because, like, bro, he really did not do anything.
Yeah, I'm not watching
really,
it. Pissed me off.
But shout out to Erling Haaland. Shout out to Julian Alvarez. People were calling him a 7-game merchant. Like, when did the World Cup become a 7-game tournament?
Nah, he's been crushing it. He's Man City know how to find him.
He scored a free kick before Haaland and Mbappe in their career.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Shout out to Enzo Fernandez. He's been fantastic. Shout out to PSG for being garbage because Dembele hasn't scored. Colomani looked lost out there today. Who else can I give a shout out to? Oh, shout out to Bayern Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso has those boys flying. If you didn't want to watch the match of the year, Bayern Leverkusen this past Friday, tune into the highlights. They finished 2-2. Barca looks really good. Hate to say that, but they won 5-0 today. They won 5-0 on Sunday against Betis. We've been grinding out wins. 3 points is 3 points. Tomorrow we play at 12:45. Who else can I give a shout out to? Oh, I wanted to tell you about this. The Lyon Ultras. So Ultra is like a section of like the diehard fans. They lost like 4-1 in the league, and one of the fans grabbed the microphone and said, "You should be embarrassed to be wearing this shirt, this and that." Like, they went off of them, and I was like, imagine that happening in the NBA. Like, just a random fan is like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's crazy.
and then the manager got fired a couple days later. Like a week later, he got fired. So, like, I mean, the fans, it's ridiculous.
Brutal.
Is there anyone else I can give a shout out to? No, I can't wait for the Ballon d'Or episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Oh, you got Houston Dynamo versus Miami next Wednesday. I know you're gonna be tuned in to like a casual to that and be like, "Let's go Dynamo!"
Me and my brother do text about Dynamo. We keep up with that. Obviously, I keep up with European soccer more, but he went to the Dynamo game like a couple nights ago, so we keep up with them. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been it for episode 52. Shout out Nole, shout out Strickland, shout out Coco Gauff, shout out to Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, shout out to who else? Jude Bellingham can get a shout out just because Jude Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez, Mauricio Pochettino. You are a good coach, but after a couple of games, I think you're on the hot seat. And hashtag Chelsea needs to bring back Tuchel because
I wish, man.
Yeah, but Eric, appreciate you doing this. We'll see you next time for a special episode of the Ballon d'Or, and MLB playoffs are on the horizon. See you then.